congrats on
Thank you.
Saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
In general, how has the summer gone to this point? What do you think you guys have accomplished as a team in the practice you've had so far?
It's been great. It's been great. I think we haven't been as maybe healthy as I prefer. You know, we've had a couple nagging injuries, and the summer certainly a time we've had guys who wanted to push through some things, but we've tried to be conservative. But you know, as far as what we're doing on the court, aside from just having everybody together consistently, it's been great. We've introduced some offensive things, some defensive concepts, you know, laying a foundation. But most importantly, I think there's chemistry being formed, which has been good to see.
I wonder if, with so many new faces, how important some of that stuff is, and if you do have guys, like you said, you'd rather have them be injured now, but is that taking away from any of the growth or development you want to have when you do have so many new faces that are learning each other?
It hasn't yet, because there hasn't been any like consistency with kind of some of the nagging stuff. But I would say I've been really impressed with is our group collectively has figured out ways to use their voice even when maybe they're out of a drill or things like that. So that chemistry has still been being formed. There's ways to do that. We've talked about that. We're doing some things outside of the court to help with that. So that part hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, just start off with what is it about Aaron's skill set, and what is it that he's shown you so far this offseason that's impressed you?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, his ability to do things at his size, you know, has been great, and I would say we're probably, you know, we're pushing him to maybe do some things he's not used to doing on the court, but he's got the ability to do it, and I think a lot of it is just getting reps and experience. But if he can shoot it, he can handle it, he can pass it, you know, and to be able to do it at his size is really impressive.
Aaron, why was Ohio State the destination for you?
It was mainly like a family thing with me. I'm not gonna lie, Coach Jake built a family, like basically around this program, like the short time he's been here. So like just him doing that and like showing that he cares about his players, feel me, like that's all I really ask for of a coach. So like, where else would I want to go?
Aaron, where does the joy come from for you in basketball? You just always smiling up here. Where does that come from for you?
Basically just trying to show people like it's okay to be different. It's okay to smile. It's okay to do stuff like people don't really like doing that much no more. Like you don't see too many people just walking around smiling. They think it's like, oh, he's just too happy, or he's no. It's all right to be goofy. It's all right to be funny. It's all right to have fun. So I feel like it's basically having fun.
How does that kind of show up in your play on the court?
It gives me a lot of energy. So if I see my teammates do something good, or feel me, I see coach hype on the baseline, or I said baseline, the sideline, like I'll be turned up. So.
You might see that a little bit from time to time.
Evan, how do you kind of see that play out from Aaron there as a teammate?
You see it a lot, just with his talk constantly on the court, him being talkative on the sidelines when he's not in as well, just giving energy to others all the time. So it's been really refreshing, actually.
Jake, you mentioned you've challenged Aaron with some things. What maybe are those things that you're pushing him to do that maybe aren't in his comfort zone?
Yeah, shooting threes. And I don't think it's necessarily not in his comfort zone. I just think he lacks, you know, the experience at the college level. He didn't get to do that a ton, you know, last year. So we want him to do that. It creates space for us, creates space for driving lanes for guys, and it'll be harder for teams to guard us if he can consistently do that. But also, you know, with the way we're going to play, our forwards are going to have the ball in their hands in the middle third at times and have to make decisions. It's not just always running to a ball screen. So getting experience in that and his ability to handle the ball up there and drive it is going to be great for us.
And you touched on the three-pointers and wanting guys maybe who you don't expect to take threes, challenging them to do that. What does that take in the offseason? Is it just doing it over and over and over again to get guys willing and able to take it, or is there more to it that you have to work on guys when you want them to shoot?
It's hard work, certainly. I think there's things that, you know, adjustments you can give them, you know, within reason. That you can't, right, give too much or it becomes, you know, counterproductive. But if there's one or two things that we can do, consistency with footwork, you know, finishing, you know, the shot the same way every time. You know, focusing on some details like that is important, but it's good old-fashioned hard work and time is most important. And then it's getting experience, you know, in live reps.
Yeah.
I think having that's, I want guys trying things in the summer. I want them failing a little bit and getting, and then having success and getting confidence. I think you get that through live reps. So it's a combination of those things.
Are you seeing the steps at this point? I know it's still pretty early on, but are you seeing things going the way you want in that department?
Yeah, I think across the board we are. You know, we're doing a combination of team stuff this summer, but also individual skill development, and we'll continue that the rest of the summer. But, you know, I take yesterday, for example, you know, he had a great day yesterday. You know, shot it well and stuff, and maybe he hadn't, you know, last week for a day or two. So that kind of just small victories and stuff is good. It's good for all of us. And then we've seen that with everybody. We've seen that with Evan in, you know, him playing on the perimeter more than he did last year and being in decision-making, you know, situations. So we've seen steady growth. You know, we haven't, right, seen like significant growth in a few weeks, but we've seen steady growth, and that's what summer's all about.
Yeah, kind of going off that, Jake was just talking, Evan, about you being on the perimeter more. Like, is that something that you like to do? Like, is that something that you've maybe done before? Like, how is that maybe transition going for you?
Yeah, something I love to do. I've done it, I've been mixed in my whole life, but yeah, in high school I was on the perimeter a lot more. But yeah, I love it. I know we had different conversations over time of like moving me to perimeter more and just making sure that my abilities, my ball handling, my shooting, my decision making are just getting better each day so that you can trust me out there. So honestly love it. I love being challenged in that way too. So, you know.
And then Aaron, Jake was saying how you didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but maybe in that short time, maybe you're playing or just that year in general, like what do you think you learned from your 1 year in Kentucky?
How to stay poised. I learned a lot of patience there. So that just shaped me into the person I am now, basically.
Hey, Evan, something that didn't usually get talked about a lot every year was just why someone comes back to a program, which is kind of assumed everybody comes back. Everyone has their own decisions to make now. But what went into your decision to stay?
Some of the family aspect. I think being from Ohio, being a kid from Ohio, seeing Ohio State as a program, seeing the legacy of how many players came by here. You saw them back this summer. Being able to be a part of that and then contribute to it in a positive way is something I really want to do. Just being able to do it with the guys around this program, the coaches in this program, something I'm just really looking forward to doing, and that is ultimately one of the reasons why I stayed, I think. And just bouncing around, like, it really just isn't me. I know from the first school to this one, I really wanted to find a home, someplace I could trust somebody, trust a group of people, and I think I found that. So I just think just being somewhere where I know I can win and contribute to winning is a big piece.
You took on a couple different roles last year as the season went on. What do you think you learned most about the experience last season?
I think just being able to contribute wherever I am. I think staying with my game through ups and downs of the season as well. I think obviously there's always ups and downs. Everybody has their highs and lows this season, but just staying in a positive mindset, being able to contribute, whether you're on the court, not on the court, what position you're playing or not, like just being able to help out wherever I can, and just keep building trust, I guess, as well too.
Hey Jake, first off, probably gonna be fourth time, easier, harder, different?
It's like a blur after two, honestly. I'm just fortunate I married the woman I married, because that's been the real key to everything. So thank you though.
With the younger guys on your team, specifically the ones that just right out of high school, how are they adjusting to kind of the pace that you're trying to dictate, and how do you use the guys who are experienced, like the guys you have next to you, to kind of help them get through the process?
Yeah, well, listen, I think the two freshmen we brought in are good players, and they both come from good programs and have been coached well, which helps. That helps that transition. They're both really competitive, and they both love Ohio State, and you can see that, you know, in the way they came here ready, you know, ready to go, ready to work. They have freshman moments certainly and freshman days, but, you know, I've been impressed with Colin's physicality, you know, and I think both those guys are smart basketball players, they have high basketball IQs, but Colin's physicality for a freshman, you know, has been impressive. And then Junie's ability to, you know, get a shot off and do that and create space for himself, you know, has been impressive too, as he's now moved up a level. So they've got to adjust to the speed and that we want to play at, the tempo of things and the physicality of things certainly, but I've been impressed with both of them.
Aaron, obviously playing at a place like Kentucky, I imagine you take a lot from that. What maybe do you want to bring with you here? What are things that maybe you want to leave behind and kind of leave in the past?
I mean, the past is the past. I can't really go back or try to grab stuff from the past. I just gotta keep learning and living by every day. I mean, I'm here now, so I just gotta build better habits and new habits and just keep contributing the way I am.
Does it feel like a change of scenery was needed? I mean, I know you're only there one year, but did it feel like that was what you needed the most to kind of enhance your basketball career?
No, sir.
Jake, you talked about three-point shooting, but one of the first things you mentioned when you took over as interim was rebounding and wanting to improve that with this program. What does that look like in the off season? And how do you guys improve in that area going into next year?
Well, we recruited to that, certainly. That guy will help. He'll help with that. I think Sean Stewart, you know, you look at some of his, you know, the analytics put behind his minutes and his rebounding and his minutes is elite. So we recruited to that. Certainly, I mean, Evan will be an important part for that moving forward with his versatility and able to play multiple positions, but he had some big rebounding games. I think he knows there's a consistency, you know, that he can get to from that standpoint. But I feel like we addressed it in recruiting, but it's some of it's a mentality too. Like we want to be aggressive offensively, you know, rebounding as well. So we got to work on it. We got to keep getting better at it. But I think it has the potential to be a real strength for us.
And then Aaron, you know, Coach Diebler just mentioned Sean. You guys played together, I believe, the McDonald's All-American team. What was that like, and what's it like being teammates with them again?
I find it crazy that we're teammates now, because when we was at McDonald's, we never would have thought that he was going to do what I was going to Kentucky. So it's like the past was never get there. But nah, I'm happy that he's like my teammate now, because he's a hard worker, just like the rest of the guys, and he's like one of those killers basically. So I'm just glad to be on the same court as him.
Aaron, you mentioned, you know, being unashamed to be goofy and have this bubbly personality, I guess. What are some of your off-court interests that you think might surprise people?
Off-court interest?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just like having fun. Fishing.
Fishing, okay.
Fishing, yeah, fishing. I like fishing. So that's some off-court I could do.
Do you have a big fish story?
Oh, nah, I can catch all the little ones.
Jake, you've still got one roster spot technically available. Rosters can fluctuate a little bit these days. How do you envision this roster taking shape still in the time you have between now and the fall?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to speak more specifically on that here in the near future. You know, right now, it's fluid more than it ever has been. That's just the nature of college basketball. And, you know, I think from this standpoint, as we look to kind of, as we have looked to finalize things, we've looked to, you know, build around the pieces that we have and complement the guys that we have, because we're really excited about this group. And so, yeah, can't give you too much more information than that right now. We'll have more information here soon, though.
Could there be multiple additions?
That's going to be fluid. Yeah, that's going to be fluid for the time being.
Okay. And you've talked about pace, and you've talked about rebounding. I don't know if we've ever asked you, like, what do you want a Jake Diebler team to look like? Like, when you close your eyes and think about this team tipping off when the season starts, what do you want people that watch this team to take away from how this team looks?
I think people are going to see, you know, I'm confident that these guys are going to, you know, and our group's going to be able to do it. I want people to see an aggressive, confident, tough team. and a team that has fun, like plays with a joy. You know, that's one of our values here is joy, and you know, I want us to, like, when we walk through this building and we have the resources we have and everything, like we're gonna operate with a sense of joy and pride in what we do, and I think our fans will see that. People will be able to see that when they're here in the shop. They'll be able to see that through the TV. Like, we're gonna be aggressive. I want guys to play with confidence, and we're gonna have a toughness about us. So I think that most part, there'll be pace involved in that, certainly. That's in my DNA. I think that's well documented. But yeah, we're working towards it, building towards it a little bit at a time.
You have any updates on what the schedule might look like?
Yeah, that's another thing, Adam. I gotta get you at a little bit later date. We're finalizing that. We're just, there's contracts and stuff being worked out, but we're pretty well set. We just can't announce stuff quite yet.
Do one more?
Yeah, sure. You're gonna ask me another question that I can't give you a great answer with, or no? I'm kidding.
I have like one on the list here to say.
I'm kidding. I promise I will answer those questions soon, though. Right, Gary? We'll help them out with that soon.
I did want to ask you, like, looking at like how you structured your staff.
Yeah.
And Terrence is the director of recruiting. Nick is the NIL community relations coordinator. Like,
Yep.
how do you envision those roles? What do you want those guys doing in those positions? Because there's a lot of different ways to build a staff now.
Yeah, and listen, the one thing that's really, in my mind, been validated throughout this summer is, like, we have a great staff. I felt really good about that, you know, when the hires were made and things. But you know, you never fully know until you get together and get working, and it's been even better than I thought it could be. We've shifted, you know, some roles with some of the guys who were here before, and honestly, I wanted to put them in positions that they felt they could grow in, and that they were areas that they wanted to be a part of. So I think the support staff, the way I envision our staff working, the support staff guys are always going to be guys that we're hopefully mentoring to grow in this industry. So Terrence specifically, you know, he's really focusing in and helping us be organized from a recruiting standpoint, involved in on-campus recruiting at a high level. And then Nick with, you know, this ever-changing NIL space, and as we're gonna certainly get more guidance here in the near future, I think having someone who's like really focused in on how that is changing so we can constantly try and stay ahead of the curve is important. And then because of the community aspect of the NIL and executing, you know, some of those things, like I just felt like that was, we needed help and someone specifically working in that space. So he's done a great job with it. And you know, I think it's something he's wanted to do, and he's, you know, some of it though is he's kind of waiting to see too how some of these rules play out. So, but we'll be ready. I think that's the thing it helps us with, is that we'll be able to adjust, shift, navigate, you know, whatever we have to do as new rules come out, we'll be ready for it, because we got a guy focusing on following that closely.
Awesome. Please go.